has come to that. We can work 24/7. We have all this technology at our fingertips. And if you don't value your employees and burn them out, there's always somebody else that's going to step into your place. you
Yeah.
know so we got off the values a bit, but what we're saying and what we're always talking about now is you have to own your value. You have to know where you want to go, and you have to also get off, and perhaps even get help to get off, because you're going to just repeat. When I see clients that go into divorce and then they go into the same negative relationships, it's a
Yeah.
repeat. It's the same with work, it's the same with everything, because there isn't the internal growth. The internal growth, the inner game, is what we have to change. When you change the inner game, man, you fly, because nothing holds you back, you know?
Everything we're saying here is connected to the whole concept of internal clockwork. You have got
Yes.
to make your beliefs are everything. What you think is what you believe and what you do.
Yes.
And society is broken, cultures are broken. And look, there are people who probably do work 180 hours and they don't care. But I mean, they don't sometimes come out the best side of that. So you have
They
to,
die.
yeah, you have to have self-awareness. Like if you will still, if that's, what is it? Let's weigh the odds. Let's balance it. If you don't care and I'll just do a couple years on that, that's fine. But we all are going to have our own beliefs, and that internal belief system is what will drive you. So just be self-aware. I believe at the end of the day, do that self-discovery. Realize when you have self-awareness on what's what you believe, what's out there, is it right for you? Do I want it in spite of this? Just be educated on everything, and because that's the only thing you can do. We can't change these cultures. We can't
No,
change anything but ourselves.
no, no.
And so that is the thing. There's a lot of work to be done, and getting help by someone who does this internal work like yourself, Beverly. We can't do this ourselves. We're
No.
crushed by our own thoughts as it is,
Yeah.
but just self discovery, self advocacy is what this is. We have to advocate for ourselves and do the education and awareness, and then just take it little baby steps, because it can seem so overwhelming. But look, everything is possible when it's broken down bit by bit. Then you get that mindset, the momentum, the mental momentum is what I call it, to move forward based on
Yeah.
your plan. And that's why I'm writing Own Your Lane, because in the context of my work, I think we need a plan of what we need to know our purpose and get out there. We make plans for financial, business plans,
Uh-huh.
college plans,
Uh-huh.
wedding plans, baby plans, house
Yeah.
plans,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
never do it for our professional path and how we want to do work that we're meant to do and get visible and own our value. And so that's why I believe we all need this pathway and this plan that I'm writing about to fulfill ourselves. At the end of the day, we're here to get out there to serve others, but in the same token, you'll be fulfilling yourself. And that's an equally important balance in life, to feel like we're made for something, we're made for more, and we're making a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
Good point.
encouraging. And I think it's a great process that you're using, to get to your result that you're looking for, is being able to understand each step has value into itself.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Everything, builds towards something. And there's hope and opportunity for those who stay the course, but also learn and just as importantly, collaborate with others, especially who are doing the same things. There's so much more to be gained by sharing than by kind of owning it all, because
Mhm.
it's too big and it's too much. And why not share and ratchet up together? So, Beverly, I know you're a wonderful collaborator and sharer. You always offer 15 minutes to anybody who wants to get to know you a little
Yes.
better and see your services. Why don't you
A-
share?
actually, actually, thank you, Dawn. That is exactly the only way to work with me, or not to work with me, because I help everybody. I really do. Believe it or not, I can click, click, click real quick and give you that 15-minute kind of boost. 15 minutes can be a while,
Yeah.
but which is good. And so I do help people get out of whatever rut it is. And I do not. do that pitch at the end. No, 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 I hate that. but but what it is the only way is to talk to me, tell me the problem. I will give the solution. I will give different strategies, etc., etc. And then, of course, goodbye. That is not a sale, by the way. That's just the only way you can experience what goes on internally. I can write it. And as a matter of fact, I have a formula called the reinvention formula, and I could do all that, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. But it's beyond, for me anyway, the path to get there. Okay. What it is click, click from the brain to the heart. I get it,
Yeah.
And what is that quote? If you believe it, the universe will serve it, that kind of thing. Oh, yes. Okay. Once you change your mindset, it's that connection, that aha moment that says, yeah, I'd like to continue talking to that person
Mhm.
or not. That's okay. But whatever it is, that is the way I work. That is who I am. And that is honestly, that is my values. I cannot deviate from that or give you a hard sell or anything like that. It was, and I have evolved to do that. I want to tell you, I have zillions of coaches. I have a coach now. I love my coaches and I loved every single one of them along the way. The bottom line is you have to be yourself. And it's, if you aren't doing what your purpose is, uh, it's something that everyone will know and experience. And that's that imposter syndrome we were talking about. You can go on great stages and know what you have to do, but are you really feeling it? Yes, for the next 15 minutes. And then afterwards, when you go out for dinner, yeah, you're on a roll. But what happens later? And that's that, wave of ups and downs that a lot of speakers and a lot of artists and rock stars or whatever, musicians, you name it, you get the high and then you get the low. And that's in every business and that's everywhere. But if the feeling is, what is this all about? And it's the bottom line, it's only about you. It's only about your values. And you have to stand for what your values are. And if you feel comfortable standing on stages, by all means, go for it. If you feel comfortable writing books, we have so many opportunities today. And that's what you do, Michelle. You're helping people help themselves
Yeah.
in a completely different way. And what I'm doing is exactly the same thing to actually help them to click, click and get them.
Yes.
Not, I don't get them. No, not get them. They get
Yeah.
that
They get it.
they get whatever they can do. And it's all possible. It is. It's all mindset. But you have to have your values. And that we have so many, like you said, shiny objects everywhere that do it my way and do it my way, and this will get you $1 million, and you can get $1 million sleeping overnight if you take this course and do courses for other people. It goes on and on and on. So you have to say, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And when you're a high achiever, perhaps you've gone absolutely everywhere you wanted to go, but then there's, and now what?
Mhm.
So you know so Michelle.
I love that. I like to say with my book, when you own your lane, you never feel lost internally. You know who you are.
Yes.
And, so Beverly, you're like the pre-launch, the pre-launch. On my launch your value, we have our put yourself out there planner and know your value. And I talk about all that stuff and not just your value, but the value you want to give to others and the vision you have for getting out there for yourself and
Yeah.
others. It's a tandem
Yeah.
approach while we're out there. First, it's a give mentality, but you're going to flip the switch and it's just going to come back to you. But when you own it, you never feel that lost feeling. Another huge part of owning your value, owning your lane and I see this all the time, and it does relate to shiny objects, shiny object gurus, and all the people preaching and almost like cult like, is because people don't know. And so they're grabbing onto anybody who has a substantive idea or hope that can help them. But again, internal. But the problem is, we start comparisonitis is one of the most detrimental things, and that's probably the core reason why I'm writing Own Your Lane, is because we don't have that internal clarity on who we are, self-awareness. So we start looking on the side of the road. Look, and this could be in corporate or anywhere, business. What are they doing? What are they doing? We don't also know how to articulate. We don't know who we are, so we don't know how to articulate our difference. So we just start emulating others, right? And then again, going back to your whole point, that's not sustainable because we're emulating someone else. We're just doing what they're doing, but that's not us. We're acting, we're looking, we're thinking, we're chasing the money. Everything we talked about today comes back to that comparisonitis. It's okay if that's what you want, fine. But if you truly want to own your lane of opportunity, impact, and profit and fulfillment, I might add, you have to be true to you and don't look on the side of the road. But that's the book. That's my whole thing, is when you know it, you're going to look on the side maybe, but then you're going to go, oh, that's so cool. That's them. Yes, high five to them. I'm not going to go down a spiraling hole because I see them. Half the time, what is for them is not us, or they're ahead of us. At the end of the day, it's always not the same because we're uniquely. And one of the things I like to say in the book is we must find joy. Realize there's just one you. Okay. And we have to embrace that, especially in the age of AI and automation, when the opportunity to have deep fakes and fake voices and people. We need you out there. We need you so that we see that we're starving for communicate. We're starving for connection in this world more than ever before. We're drowning in information, and we need transformation and human connection at the core of our being. I think if we have all that, oh my gosh, what a better place. So that I got on my soapbox again because I'm so passionate about this concept. And I'm so thankful, Dawn, that you connected Beverly and I, because like she does women empowerment. You'd like her. You guys do a lot of things, and I'm geeking
We
out.
do.
Well,
Words.
We so do. Yeah, we really do.
So kind of you, Michelle. And part of the benefit of live streaming is being able to strategically pair people.
Yes.
Right? Get people together who should be together, but for whatever reason, someone met somebody earlier, someone figured something out, and it's a matching opportunity. Mm-hmm. And that's what's so good about having shows like this, is you can put three people together that collectively bring so much value to the word of the day, to the audience. And we did have technical issues I was playing with. It all worked out by happen chance. But I want to recognize Harvey, who's here today. Harvey has just been one of our cohorts with Beverly and about 4 other people we meet every other Thursday, who are all live streamers, share what we're doing right, share guests that we're having. So, we can all win together without being the whole opportunity in itself, and having Bob Berg on the show, who has written The Go-Giver, really reinforced what giving will get you. And I think one of the opportunities that Michelle brought up was being authentic, being yourself, because it's easier to continue to be that way than to have some facade or second persona that you bring to the table, because you can't escape live streaming. People see you. Not only do they hear you, but they see your expressions. They see how you relate to other people, how generous you could be to other guests. And, it's the intangibles that make the difference. With that said, Harvey says, hello, everyone. Great to be here.
Hey, Harvey.
Always hey, such exceptional value, and giving others a pleasure to be here. Well, Harvey's story is started about over a year ago as a visitor to the show, then became a guest on the show, and then a little while after that created a franchise show, which is the #1 franchise show on LinkedIn. And he's in London, and also then doubled down and has the Thursday franchise brand show. And by having everybody doing their thing in their way, there's so much more value to support each other. Because, if someone's doing it better, why not learn from them and go
Mhm.
with them? The saying that if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with others is so
Mhm.
important. Plus, the journey is so much better when you're not doing it by yourself, when you're not trying to have to figure everything out, because eventually you get tunnel vision.
Mhm.
You only see what you've been seeing until someone opens a door and says, wow, there's more. And plus, it's easier to rely on other people and to be relied upon. And that's where integrity makes so much difference. That's where the generous spirit, where you're coming from abundance and you think and know that there's more than I'll ever be able to take advantage of. But there's things I won't be able to take advantage of unless I partner up, have a workout buddy. And I think that's so important. And another thing is it gives everybody a chance to spread their wings. Everybody's got a true voice. Most of the time, they never get heard. They get
Yep.
marginalized, minimalized, and eventually they go off into the shadows, never to be seen or heard again. And they live maybe a life of uh, quiet desperation when they can really get out there and fly. We've got Gabe here today. Uh, okay, well, she says, Gabe says you're a star. Great to have confirmation and third party validation.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
That's great.
And
Yes.
also says, I see copies of the LinkedIn branding
Yes.
book in Michelle's background. Great book.
Awesome.
Well,
Yes.
it's nice to get that,
Thank
because
you.
Yes.
it
Yes.
reaffirms so much in things that you think and know. I think one
Yeah.
more thing to Michelle's point is confidence in yourself goes a long way.
Uh,
Too many people are like a little leaf in the wind. They're here now and then they see like the bright shining object. They go there tomorrow and then they lose their bearings and pretty soon they're doing about anything and they
mhm.
can't really
Mhm.
get back to themselves. So, Beverly,
Yeah, I'd like to also go back to what you said, Michelle, about the bright, shiny objects. They're all out there, and they're out there as soon as you start judging and you say, wow, look what so and so's doing. Wow, look what she's doing, etc. First of all, everybody is putting themselves out there saying how great they are. Nobody says what their troubles are. Nobody says what they're going through. Nobody, right? um, Everybody has problems. And this is where you have to take a look and say, wow, they're doing well. Um, and you may be stuck at that point in time with what's going on with you. And that's where you need that resilience. And that's where you go back to your why. And that's where you go back to your values.
Mhm.
Because you can, and I have clients who say, I have turned down that job because my value is to take care of my family and to
Mhm.
spend more time as a lawyer, to be working with my family and being there. However, it's very tempting to say, maybe I shouldn't have done that, when all of a sudden there's all kinds of problems in your family, or you become middle aged and there's no need for that. And you've kind of lost track when you're going back. So it's to kind of always integrate what you're really about. And what's great about meeting you, Michelle, and I love what you're saying, because what you're doing is you're helping people be aligned with their values. And I mean, so am I, actually, in a kind of different way, but the same,
Yeah.
because the root of everything is what we believe.
Yeah.
And once you change your belief, and this is where, when you're an adolescent or you're going to university and you're coming out with who you really want to be, it never is who you really are. And the big trick is to finally understand who you are, not who you want to be. Because
Mhm.
guess what? That's an imposter. Who you are is huge. And if you're playing the wannabe thing, you're never really happy. You're always on stage. And You're never okay with yourself. And that's the key. It's not how much you've achieved,
Mhm.
it's really how you feel at the end of the day. When you go to sleep, are you okay?
Yeah.
You're the one that has to look at you, you know? So I love what you were saying. Don't look at the shiny objects because they're in your face all the time. They come at you left, right, and center online and everywhere
Yeah.
else.
It's like freeway traffic. It's always going to be there. You're always going to see it. But to your point, aspiring, you said it so well, and especially because we're younger, I think we are a little insecure. We haven't done the work. We are aspiring to who we want to be, not truly who we are. On my live stream yesterday, I had a wonderful guest, a former client of mine, Julie Ciardi, who turned 50 today, and she's launching a whole movement, a book called 50 Not Finished. And we were talking about the narrative of aging. And I brought up the point that I coined this last week on my walk, where all my ideas seem to pop, is, we have to really embrace this mid-career stage where our age and wisdom just kind of blossoms. Like we don't think the same. And I also think we need to consider it not just aging, but saging. Like we're saging, like we are sage. We have sound advice now. And this is when we have the maturity usually to go back and do the work and say, okay, my entire life, I might've wanted to who I want to be, but this is truly who I am. And this is the unblossoming, the unpeeling, and the beautiful way of the internal work sometimes we need to strengthen. Maybe it's always there. You just need to tweak it. Or maybe you need to do a whole renovation like Beverly. But once you get out there, it's about fulfilling that self-expression of what you're here for. That could be in another role at work or go out on your own or do something on the side. But we all need to tap into that purpose-filled self-expression. And again, it's getting out there because another, to your point, is the people who you see on the side of the road and you're, who are doing all these great things and you wish you could do them. Well, guess what? They put themselves out there. So to your point, you can say, well, they're not perfect too. And so not everything's not what it seemed, but I have that opportunity too. I can get out there and do that thing that I'm meant to do. And that's why I'm here to help women. So, once you get the internal stuff going, we're going to get you out there and then you're going to feel so fulfilled having a purpose, a reason for doing, right? We can't just sit idle. We can't. That's boring. How many people retire, play golf for 2 months and they're bored out of their mind, right? That's just not sustainable. We have to contribute to others. And that's why I say, put yourself out there, get visible. And what is your contribution to others, which in turn flips a switch to us for fulfillment, opportunity, impact, and profit. So there you go. That's what it's all about. And the beliefs are the driving force.
Well, I think you hit on so many valuable points because it's a lot of people are waiting for something to happen instead of making something happen. And you can take small steps, like just commenting on what Michelle or Beverly or I say, or go to their programs. Make yourself known to them because eventually people get recognized. And when you get recognized, you feel more comfortable making comments. And then eventually, I know that if you're supporting this show and what I'm doing, I'm going to reach out to you to talk with you, to find out some feedback, what you liked, what I could do better. And eventually, everybody could be a guest on anybody's show if they can bring value. And the value they bring is not only what they do, but what they project to others to allow them to do. So being somebody who really fortifies other people, supports other people, this is not a place where you become a star or want to be a star, but you want to be part of a team, maybe become a leader in that team, but follow other people's footsteps because they'll show you the way and they'll even help you along the way if you continue to show you're worthy. And that's where the value really comes in. And when we talk about age, especially when it comes to values, what can you still provide? There's people who are young and can't do anything for anybody, including themselves. And, in my case, I'm only a 3-year-old on LinkedIn. So that's as old as I am here because that's as long as I've been doing my live streams. And you start to learn that it is one step at a time. You're not going to grab the whole package of everything because what are you going to do next? And I think people don't enjoy the journey. They look at it too position oriented instead of how am I learning something? What am I gaining every day? Where am I progressing? So you got to be grateful for where you came from, for where you are, and excited about where you're going. And if it's really real and genuine,
Yeah.
you'll get there, because that will significantly differentiate you and distinguish you from the phonies, the people who try to be something they're not. Because at the end of the day, this is communication. Where the rubber meets the road is when you actually start working with somebody or working together with somebody, and they can say, well, what do you got besides just a bunch of quality words? What do you do? This is a door opener, and it's an opportunity to share and learn together. And I think those people who give first without expecting something in return will get a lot more, because they'll do a lot more. People are waiting for someone to do something until they feel good enough to do something. Those are people who are majoring in the minors. They're keeping score all the time. What did I do? What did I get? What did you do? And after a while, that doesn't build quality relationships. It's a distraction. It's like we're looking at the scoreboard when you should be playing the game, and the scoreboard will follow the activity. And again, having people who are good sounding boards, who are, courageous enough or honest enough to be generous in one way, but to say, hey, Michelle, I don't know if you're noticing this, or Beverly, I caught something, right? If your shoes were untied, you'd like someone to tell you that before you fall, but some people won't even tell people that for whatever reason. So anyways, don't want to digress. Beverly, I know we're coming up on a few minutes to go. Love to hear
Yeah.
your thoughts on what
Yeah.
you've been able to accomplish. I think Michelle's just been an outstanding guest.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes, really inspiring. It's terrific. And the topic is right out there, values. And I'm going to go back to what you said again, Michelle, when you were talking about evolving and changing as we grow and as we age. And that's why I have a podcast called Aging with Purpose and Passion. And it's all about story. And it's about our personal story, and everybody that wants to be on there, or every agent that they send me also, it's, I have a book, I'm selling this and I'm doing that, et cetera, right? The bottom line is, it's not your story.
Yeah.
Okay, it's your book, and everyone has a story. And when I'm listening to these wonderful women, and the reason I did this podcast to start with, and it's become acclaimed and all over, and I'm really excited about that. Dawn, I'm thrilled. But the reason I started in the first place is because women empower other women through their story. And when one woman goes through it, believe it or not, it's a sisterhood. We're out there. And we're out there as we've evolved, as we've changed, as we've raised our children, as we've gone through whatever we've gone through. And very often we have reached great heights, whether it's in the workplace or wherever we have chosen to be. And then something hits. And it's usually, often it's before, but usually it's around middle age. And it's that thought process, or it's that change, or whatever it is. And each and every person that's telling their story is remarkable and coming out with their value in the end. That's what I love about those stories. By the way, they're only about 20 minutes, a half hour most. I don't bore you. But the bottom line is, it's so empowering listening to other people's stories and how they have come out. And of course, you want to buy the book after that. You want to be able to know more about these people. That is what sales is. And that's what marketing really is. And going back to what you do, Michelle, marketing should not be in your face.
Yes.
You're the one that has to make that choice. You're the one that has to say, does this person work with my values? And when you listen to other people's stories, we empower each other. So I encourage everybody to honor your own story, because very often at the end, that's where your value is. And it usually goes back to family. It usually goes back to what really matters in your life. And if you're looking for your purpose, go back to the things that you loved when you were a child.
Mhm.
You will surprise yourself and say, yeah, but I'm really not creative. Well, really? I mean, I have clients who have decided, I always loved history. And I'm going to really research not only my family, but where did they come from Ireland, et cetera, et cetera. And she's created great heights in business, no question, and was on the verge of retirement. And now she can write a book. Everybody can write a book today. Isn't that marvelous? You don't need agents.
Love it.
you know, it's an equal opportunity for all of us. You can be a star on TikTok and be 10 years old.
Yes.
So we could take advantage of that, but whatever we do, we should go right back to our values. Where did we belong? Because you can fly to great heights, and then there's a cancel culture, and you're gone.
Mhm.
And so you're left with you at the end of the day. So I love this topic, and I really love what you've been saying, Michelle. It's been a wonderful conversation. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you, and right back at you. Ditto to everything you say. To your point, I know we're about to close out. I don't want to
Oh,
overtake it, but creativity is really just self-expression. It does it. Creativity is not just doing art. It can be gardening. It can
yeah,
be writing. It can be looking on our ancestry. It's something that lights you up in self-expression. We all need that.
yeah.
And so I encourage you to know your values, know your strengths, know what lights you up, equally what doesn't, because sometimes that's easier to figure out what we like is what we don't like. And I talk
Mhm.
about the flow versus the friction state. The things that you're doing, you don't even know what time is there. You skip lunch, you don't even care, time just flows, right? That's what you got to look for, the clues. It's like going on this own your lane, look for the signposts on the road. Too often we're just speeding by. Like you said, Don, to your point, we need to stop, pull off on the side of the road and look and just acknowledge how far we've come. Look at the view. Notice the things around us. We're all in a blur. And that brings me to another thing about my whole concept of too much digital, too much social media. I have a domain. Someday I'm going to write a book called Life Less Digital. We can't get away from digital, but we need a
Mhm.
little bit less of it and more about that human connection, tapping into creativity to
Totally.
balance ourselves. So I could go on. We could talk for days again, I'm sure, but I know we'll keep it at that. But I just want to thank you both for the
Thank
opportunity to
you.
come on your show and chat about a topic that I'm really passionate about, because at the end of the day, let's just sum it up. When we know our internal value, we get out there with our visible value, we give more contribution to the world, which in turn makes
Yes.
us fulfilled, full of opportunity, impact, and dare I say profit that comes from it.
Well,
Yes.
that is so valuable, and it's really important what you're saying. I want to thank Michelle. You were outstanding,
Thank you.
even better than anticipation, which was very high to begin with. I want to
Thank you.
always thank Beverly for making everybody
Thank
here
you.
feel better and add value. And that was our word today.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, audience. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Beverly. We'll talk again.
Thank you so